All right. So understanding dormants in dormers, sorry, in the town of Somerville, city of Somerville. So shed dormers is what we're gonna focus on right now. So they have to first be set back from the ridge by a foot. That's one thing. Gotta be set back from the ridge by a foot in plan. So if in plan we have the ridge, and this is the eave, and the eave, this dormer has to be set back from here 1 feet. That clear? That's number one. Number two, this is the ridge, and the dormer cannot be more than 50% of that length. So if that is 50 feet, this dormer in length can only be 25 feet. That's number two. Okay. Number three, dormers cannot interfere with the eave. They cannot interfere with the eave. So yes, they can align with this wall and this wall, of course, so that they are structural. But the eave needs to continue its overhang. You cannot mess with it, meaning you cannot just cut it out or overhang away from it. It cannot protrude beyond. It cannot mess with the eave. Okay, that's one. So we've already gotten the ridge setback. We've already gotten that it can only be 50% of the entire eave, which is C. It's not C, but yeah, it's 50% only right here. And what's next? From the front wall of the house to the rear wall of the house, it cannot be any less than 3 feet. So that's the setback right here, 3 feet. Okay. So one thing though, the side wall is this wall that we're talking about. It says that if it has an eave, there is a setback of 0. If it doesn't have an eave, there's a setback of 1 foot. So what I mean is that if the house is like that, doesn't overhang,
Then it needs
I guess you can go right on it. If it has an overhang, you have to be set back from it by a foot. Okay, is that clear? Does that make sense?
A foot from the
eave, from the edge of the eave, the overhang.
and if let's say the overhang is 6 inches, then the door.
Well, my bad. This is confusing.
I think
So my bad. So roof without an eave, you gotta get back from it 1 foot. Roof with an eave, you do not have to have any setback from it. That's what he's saying. Huh. Okay. Is that clear now? Now we're just focusing right now on shed dormers on this one. There's a bunch of other dormers. There's gable dormers, shed dormers. So you asked another question. So like, could I split it? Well, like if this ridge is like that, so this side you can do like, let's say you're gonna do 25 because it's half. You can do 15 and then 10. You cannot do more than 50% of the ridge in each side. That's it. That's what you get. You basically only get that. And we haven't even gotten into the window section of this, which probably we're not going to talk about right now. But that's the first thing. It's got to be 50% setback from the front and back by 3 feet minimum, setback from the ridge by a 1 foot minimum, and setback from the eave as needed by 1 foot. And that's pretty much it. Is that clear?
No, yeah. My only question is, I understand you said I can divide that 50% however I want, but in case like if this building has a ridge here and another one here, I do 50% on this one and then I can use the other 50% of the other small one.
That's a good question. I don't have a perfect answer to it right now. All I would say is you can only use the 50% of the reach where you are doing it on that particular roof. Creating of separate roofs, and you use 50% in one and 50% of the other. That's how I would take it. But a better answer will be, you could go through here. You could try to find more sections on it. Right now, I just found that section. Maybe there is another explanation, a better explanation of it. That's the one I'm using right now, but there may be a better explanation. Flat roofs are prohibited. That's a big one. Flat roofs are prohibited completely. And check the district, because it looks like it's regulated by district overall, but I think most of them apply the same rules. Like this looks like the same rules overall, for most of them. It's pretty much the same. 1, 3, 1, 50, 36, yes.
And those dormers, they do have to be inside of the setbacks, right? So it doesn't matter that it's an existing building.
No, well, not necessarily, because they should be, but if they aren't, they're gonna need a special permit or some sort of variance. Yes, it'd be because the building is an existing non-conforming, it's gonna increase the non-conformity of the building. So yes, you are right. Ideally, they would be. And I think that's it on that end. So I'm gonna pause that right now. Hopefully that clarifies it a little bit.